just threw a grenade down the whole flight of stairs. I don't like getting in close.
Let's redo that.
Okay, I'm like, hey, you geeks. We find ourselves in a strange new location with a strange man to talk about the Cosmere RPG.
A game?
A game?
A game?
Yes.
Ah, I love games. Pick me.
In fact, this man is not so strange. He's been known on this channel for a while. His name's Norbert, my reading buddy. Oh, and also my long-term dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons. But this past few weeks, you got me into a different game.
Yeah, so a friend of mine had another friend who was going to be running a one-shot of the game.
So we both were in a beta test of the Bridge 9 escapade. Is that the word? It's not the word.
One-shot, adventure, misadventured, bridge falls, and some people die.
They had an opening spot, so the two of us were able to participate with, was it 4 other people?
Yeah, most had some familiarity with the book, but our Ardent and MVP, I must say, had never read the books before and was completely oblivious to the fact that she was sitting behind a giant clock that looked like a cryptic. And then she actually ended up speaking to a cryptic, or a cryptic spoke to her during gameplay. She tried soul casting and, what's the phrase? It did not work. Did you have fun?
Yes, I did. It was a really good one-shot to try the game, but also just a fun time playing an RPG together.
I'm not used to playing on Discord and digital tabletop, but the DM ran things really well, and I think the system worked really well with the digital space.
Who was your character?
I was playing a fighter named Palinor, who was a spearman, and I was going for the soldier who just wanted to have a quiet day, and then everything goes wrong. Yeah,
you had a certain uppity Brightness, which is my character. Brightness Zvinda was ward to Brightness Muttal. It's been a while since I've played a level 1 character, so having to deal with like mild setbacks was actually like it was like, that didn't work.
It's strange, but level 1, I think, in a lot of RPGs is the more dangerous time because your first encounter might kill you and the rest of the party.
Also with this version of the gameplay, in D&D, you get to do your one action in a battle. You get your one action and then it goes around and comes back to you. Here, you get to choose if you want to be fast or slow. And if you're fast, you only get 2 actions, which is like one more action than I'm used to having.
Yeah.
And then if you're slow, because you're still trying to figure out what the heck the game mechanic is, you get 3. So I would in our first encounter, I moved from one side of the canyon, the chasm, to the other. And then I tried to use a definitely not foresee the future sort of mechanic. And then it didn't work. I was completely stunned as to what to do next. But I think you had a different problem with that.
Yeah, so I decided to intervene in the middle of a fight.
So the bridgemen, being good lads, run over to fight, and our opponent ended up managing to knock out pretty much everyone in a 5-foot radius of us.
Because level 1 characters are still squishy even when you are a fighter.
I would say with the knockout mechanics, I really liked how it didn't remove the players from the fight for the duration of the tension, because then I was planning, okay, this turn I'm going to get back up, and then how do I make sure I don't go down again? And then thematically, I liked that it made me think of in a lot of Sanderson books where, the protagonist gets knocked down or one of the side characters gets knocked down and then they stagger to their feet bloodily and they're like,
two of our bridgemen utilizing the raise the stakes mechanic that this game has added, they attracted Spren. I don't think did your character attract the Spren?
No, my character didn't attract a Spren. I wasn't quite sure what my character might become as a Radiant.
We had a third acquaintance who was in this group who was playing just a straight up bridgeman who was the most squishy-ist of these characters. But she still ended up attracting a Spren, which I think is the trade-off for the squishy factor.
It felt very good to facilitate more play and also to keep and also just thematically worked. And then with the resolution of the fight, I agree. I liked that there was an option to resolve it diplomatically that the DM worked with and that there were mechanics for. And it wasn't just a matter of half the party are the head things until they stop moving type. So let them deal with it while the brightness combs her eyebrows or something.
There was eyebrow combing on this quest.
I feel like the game would need to go on long enough to establish, say, my character or brightness Zvinda, and establish like what order of Radiant would they be. But I think that the Bridgeman, it's the Stormlight Archives, a heroic Bridgeman is going to attract Spren like a kid getting candy at a parade.
Yes. With Bridgeman picking up Radiant Spren like candy, Brightness Zvinda just wanted to attract some regular Spren to try and remake the pain real that this pre-made character comes with, courtesy of Ardent Rushu, off screen, unfortunately. And pain reals are a close range weapon. And, well, how do I solve problems on our D&D campaign?
Shoot them.
From a distance.
Or blow them up from a distance.
From a distance. So, yeah, we, the one fight mechanic, I looked at all the people lying knocked out around the threat and was like, I don't want to go over there. It would be really great if I could incapacitate someone from a distance. They do have an archer character, but I was trying to do something new. And, yeah.
Once an archer, always an archer.
Yeah, pretty much. So there aren't any mechanics about that, and the DM was like, it's a 2-night game. We are not having you remake an entire Fabrial to break this mechanic. And yeah, you didn't need a blowhorn for the rest of the campaign, and it would have only come in handy once, I think, because there really wasn't a lot of fighting after the first event, was there?
No, I think part of it, of course, was because it's a one-shot and they're trying to give everyone a chance to sample everything. But I'd also say that this RPG felt like it was much more about problem solving and character growth and interactions than straight up combat.
Like, as I said, our Ardent was the MVP. She actually successfully talked down the threat of our only fighting event. Was solved by talking and not by lethal bloodshed. A little bit of your and the Bridgeman's bloodshed.
There were skill challenges where I think we had 4 or 5 people who had to we had to get 4 successes, and then if we had 4 failures, then presumably something bad would happen.
We were very successful.
We were successful. I know I failed one of the skill challenges, and it caused one of the NPC followers to be in peril, which gave a Bridgeman a chance to do something heroic and save the day, which I thought was a really great use of the game mechanics where each of us were trying to solve this problem. Even if one person messed up, the World Singer was able to turn that around as an opportunity then, because someone comes in and is like, well, I'm going to run in and save that person. In this case, a giant muscular bridgeman picked him up in the air and threw him on his back and carried him across the finish line.
So we had a Reshi Bridgman, a Kronk Bridgman, and a
brooding soldier a brooding former soldier, I should say.
Yeah.
Who definitely did not resemble any previously established Stormlight Archives characters.
Absolutely not. He wouldn't even run away when Brightness Vinda offered to give him all of her medical supplies. And so instead, because she doesn't want to seem nice, she gave him the option of carrying her back to camp while she beat him with a stick. Which he did, apparently. I feel bad about that. He wasn't supposed to say yes.
But you see, honor demanded that he sacrifice himself for his men. I really liked having the full team of a brooding bridgeman, the comic relief sidekicks, the stalwart soldier, and the princess.
Yeah, I was trying to play Brightness Vinda like Tish from Space Camp.
I did this audit at JPL in radio astronomy. It was unbelievable. I mean, can you imagine an extraterrestrial disc jockey? Like listening to radio waves from space?
But she kind of turned into the blonde lady from Temple of Doom, whose name is not YouTube monetization appropriate. With that, any last thoughts about the RPG?
No. Other than it was a really fun time, and I'm definitely excited for when I can someday run a game of it and get to explore the paths of becoming Radiance or just the misadventures that people can have in Roshar.
Yeah. I hope that with the full set, there are actual rules on how to homebrew your own Fabrials, because it says you can. It just doesn't tell you how to do that. And the epigraphs of Part 1 of Rhythm of War only get you so far.
Somewhere the R&D department at Brotherwise Games is scouring over those epigraphs, trying to figure out how to balance this.
So, if you have any thoughts about doing in the Cosmere RPG, let me know down in the comments. See you next Wednesday for another release of the preview chapter reviews. Thanks for watching. Bye. Like, share, and subscribe.